Now, I know this is bound to be a very controversial take, but ever since the first reveal of what Hot Rod in the Last Night would look like, I loved it. I thought it was a great design, and then they came out with the French accent, and for some reason I loved it more. It's completely not Hot Rod in so many ways, but I love it. There's something about it that I just love so much. That's how I feel about The Last Night overall. It's really not a good movie. Really not a good Transformers movie, but holy hell is it a whole lot of fun to watch sometimes. And the original Last Night Hot Rod toy is just a measly lockdown retool, and it's not really entirely accurate to the design of Last Night Hot Rod. So when they announced this guy a few months back, I could not wait to get my hands on him. Let me tell you, he does not disappoint at all. How's it going, everyone? deceptibot9 here, and thank you, as always, for joining me here on the channel today. And if you like what you see, go ahead and leave me a like. If you want to see more of it and stay tuned for all of the future content that I have planned, go ahead and subscribe as well. It really, truly does mean a lot to me. Plus, if you want to follow me anywhere else on the internet, you can go ahead and find me on TikTok at deceptibot9, on Twitter at deceptibot9, and on Instagram at deceptibot9reviews. So, like I said, I know I threw out a controversial take there with Hot Rod, but guys, when I tell you that whether you like this design or not, this is a fantastic toy. It is super well engineered. He's got a great looking robot mode, great looking vehicle mode. That's enough intro. Let's take a closer look at the toy and just and view it in its awe and its beauty. All right, here is a closer look at Studio Series The Last Night Hot Rod. And you can see from this 360 that he is just so nice looking. He looks very, very accurate to how he looked in the film. And I can't believe we finally got a good looking version of him in this line. I've been waiting for so long because I was content with that original Last Night toy because for the most part it did its job at the time. But as soon as they announced Studio Series, I was like, okay, I think we can get a better Hot Rod out of this. I kept my fingers crossed, and he's finally here. This guy does not disappoint at all. I really, really, really love how this guy turned out. So without further ado, let's go ahead and take a closer look at the details on Hot Rod. Starting up here with the head sculpt, I mean, you can see it. It looks straight out of the movie. It looks so nice. The blue eyes popping out look really nice with the orange pieces coming up on his nose and around his mouth. You get his tiny little mouth there. It looks great. Some nice silver detail up there at the top. It's a really, really good head sculpt coming down. The front of the Lamborghini here looks really nice with the headlights. We get some super nice sculpted detail all the way around. That's nice mechanical detail coming down the arms. Just those look so nice coming into the hands. Not much going on here on the side. There is a little bit on this part of the wheel. This is part of the car right there on the wrist. But coming down here to the chest too, you can see just there's detail everywhere. These are all inner workings of, you know, the transformation, and they're the underside of the car, but they've got some nice sculpt work to them here in robot mode. They look really, really good here with the hip piece as well, moving down to the legs. There is just so much nice sculpted detail and look all over this guy with the nice splashes of orange, which are of course accurate to the movie, with their placement and everything, down to the feet, the top of the feet, which is the actual foot. The bottom is part of the Lamborghini mode. We'll see that here in transformation, and it's just, he looks so good. He looks really, really nice. Even coming to the back, there is these little pieces off of the door wings, but you see here the door wings are there in their proper position. Nice little orange trim there. The back here looks really nice. There's not really much of a backpack at all, and they were able to use this part of the Lamborghini to cover the windshield there, and it just looks really, really nice. You've got a port there if you want to put them on a flight stand or anything. There is some sculpted detail there on the back of the legs as well. Moving in here, you can see right here, like, this is the back of the Lamborghini. So it does a great job at modeling after the render from the film, where he really doesn't have that many car parts on him. If you just look, I mean, obviously the front of the car is here in robot mode. That is accurate to how they appears in the film. The only thing really that sticks out a lot from my memory of looking at the render, and I mean, I'll put it up here so you can compare it too, but haven't looked at it in a hot minute, but there's not these extra wheel parts here. I can forgive that being there. I don't remember these wheel parts being here in his robot mode, but I'm sure that could be accurate as well. But like, it just looks so good. I am really, really happy with how this guy turned out. He is so much better than the Last Night Deluxe, and much better than the World War II hot rod that we got, because that was completely inaccurate to how he appeared in World War II in the movie. But as you can see, also, just really quick, going to talk about accessories. You get, of course, the time gun, so that hot rod can stop the time. It does look really nice. It's got good sculpted detail on it right there on the front part, this bottom part, and of course the little time bubble barrel part. I don't know what to call that, but it does have the nice blue to pop out there. If you would like to remove this, you can. It is two separate pieces, but there we go. It's nice clipped in there. So if you want to just kind of have a more normal-ish looking pistol type gun, you can do that as well. Fits nicely in his hand if you want to have a normal pistol. I'm not sure if there's any real functionality to removing that besides that, but you can do that. It is an option. And I do want to point out too, here on the front of the gun as well, can fit any of your blast effects from whatever figures you may have. And I kind of like using the little blue bubble-ish looking one if you want to use it, because that way he can stop the time. But as for weapon storage in robot mode, there isn't really anywhere else for this gun to go. You can, if you want to use the storage that will be in vehicle mode. It's this little thing right here with the little tab. I'm sure you can just try to stick it there on the side, and it might not hold in there very well, but if you want to put it there, I'm sure you could. So let's go ahead and set this off to the side really quick so we can talk about articulation. It is absolutely killer on this guy. So the head is on a ball joint. You can get it going all the way around, and it can look up a good amount. It can look down, not so much. I do kind of wish there was an extra neck joint in there, but you're getting a pretty solid range out of it overall, so not many complaints here. Up at the arm is a ball joint at the shoulder, which gets it going all the way around, and there is a hinge part on the shoulder as well, so if you want to move the shoulder up and down a little bit like that, you certainly can do that as well. Plus the ball joint takes it to right about there all the way out. There is a swivel here at the upper bicep, a single elbow joint that gets you going a little over 90, not much more. There is a wrist swivel right there as well. There is a waist swivel that will take it all the way around, but it's part of transformation, but there's a little bit of tab, or not tab, but a little bit of overhang on the back window there. So if you want it to go around a little bit more, you kind of have to mistransform it. Not mistransform. You have to transform the back part a little bit, get it going around. But that way, waist piece does go all the way around if you need it to. Legs here on a ball joint go forward this far. They go backwards about that far before they start to get blocked by other pieces. And they go out about that far, which is not full split. Or it can be full split if you want his leg to pop off right after. It's not full split, but it'll do the job, I guess. Just a little bit of extra work there. There is a swivel up here at the upper thigh as well. This is one of my main complaints about this, and I don't have many, is the knee joint. Because if you don't have this wheel piece aligned in a certain way, you're not going to get the knee joint going very far. But you kind of have to pull the wheel out a little bit, or as far as it'll go. Then you can get the knee bend going in a super far direction. And as far as I can tell, it doesn't stress the plastic or anything here. It might if you leave it for an extended period of time. I'm not so sure because it is making it go out ever so slightly. But it's not a huge deal. Coming down to the feet, there is a pretty good amount here. So there is, as you can see, this hinge right there, which we'll use for transformation. So you can hinge it there. You can hinge it here as well at the shin, but not really forward, but you can hinge it backwards a little bit. So plus a ball joint here at the actual foot, which can get it swiveling and tilting. So you can get some pretty nice feet positionings out of Hot Rod, and you can get lots of other good poses in general out of Hot Rod. So really quick, before we get to transformation and vehicle mode, let's see how he looks compared to a few other figures, shall we? All right, here is the Last Night Studio Series Hot Rod compared with Studio Series 86 Hot Rod, who is one of my favorite figures from last year. He's just, I really love this Hot Rod a lot. I love Hot Rod as a character overall. I know this is also probably a bit of a controversial opinion, but he's one of my favorites in the entire franchise. I really love Hot Rod overall, but you can see, even though this guy is, a little bit more of a deluxe, what used to be a deluxe scale, he does come in bigger than the new Hot Rod. And yeah, you can definitely see why people were frustrated that this was supposed to be Hot Rod, but the movies take a lot of liberties anyway, so I can look past it. Here he is next to Studio Series Lockdown, who, when he first came out, I thought was fine, but now seeing this Hot Rod come out with the engineering magic that they have done on this, I really want them to tackle this. I want them to tackle Lockdown again, because this is a huge disappointment in terms of character look and design when you look at these two together and what they were able to pull off with this. All right, here we go. It's time to look at one of my favorite parts of this figure, the transformation. Let's get into it. Hot Rod transformed up into his Lamborghini mode, and the transformation is super, super cool. I think, oh, he's trying to roll away. I think it's super well thought out, and I love the way that we get an alt mode like this into a robot mode like that, and vice versa. I just think it's really well done. If anything, the worst part of it is just trying to make sure that you get this arm piece aligned at the very end. Everything else is tabbed in, but then just trying to get that pushed up while tabbing it into the front here can be a little bit of a hassle, but overall, it's nothing too bad because it's a super fun transformation. I love doing it, honestly, both ways. So he keeps trying to roll. let's take a closer look at some of the details now in Lamborghini mode. All right, I mean, and here it is in Lamborghini mode, guys. It looks great. It looks like a Lamborghini. We can see the front parts here that we saw in robot mode with the headlights. Now we get the definitely not actual Lamborghini symbol right there. But it's, got the shape. We get some tinted windows. You can see the inside of, there's the orange trim highlight there that we saw on the windows there. Now we can see all the fun door pieces. I mean, it looks like a car. There's obviously some panel lining, but it's nothing really too bad. We get some orange trim there. The wheels look nice, and he, of course, rolls as a car should. Coming back, now we can see all these car pieces exposed properly. We get the nice rear lights here with the wonderful Lamborghini, style of the back. Plus, we get the spoiler here at the back, and this nice little, what was the bottom of the feet is now the back, like, vent section of the car. And if we look at the bottom, I mean, yeah, there is some robot mode kibble. I mean, you can definitely tell there's his head, there's his arms for sure, and his feet are folded up. But honestly, it's kind of a nice underbelly, and you don't really notice it all that much. There's not a lot of exposed things. He's not really shell formery at all, as you guys saw. So I really love how the transformation turns out. And like I was saying, with the time gun, if you would like, there's these slots here on the back, and there is a little tab here on the side of the gun that, if you would like to store it on the vehicle, you can put it right there at the back. Not the cleanest weapon storage, but it's certainly not bad. I mean, you can definitely envision the gun coming off the side of the car or something like that. So it looks really nice. Honestly, I really, really like this vehicle mode. Let's see how it compares with some others. All right, first, here is Studio Series Last Night Hot Rod with Studio Series 86 Hot Rod. And I mean, if you're going to adapt Hot Rod into live action, a sports car like a Lamborghini is probably definitely the way to go. And I mean, I think here both, they look great. You would never know that this is Hot Rod if you didn't know that this was Hot Rod, just based on how different these two are. But I mean, yeah, you can see they're both roughly about the same size, and this one's probably a little bit skinnier. Yeah, just ever so slightly skinnier. I think these two have a lot in common with being really solid, really great hot rod figures that look awesome in both modes and have a really pretty well thought out transformation with some cool stuff going on that keeps it fun every single time you do it. Here he is with his Lamborghini buddy, Lockdown. And I mean, you can, Lockdown is huge, it looks like, compared to Hot Rod, but there's not a lot going on with Lockdown. I mean, honestly, the more I mess around with Studio Series Lockdown, especially in comparison to Studio Series Hot Rod and other great Studio Series figures like Ironhide or 86 Ironhide and the most recent Age of Extinction Galvatron, that this Lockdown is really ultimately pretty disappointing. I mean, he looks great in vehicle mode, but it's kind of about it. He's really shell formery, and he definitely could use a second go around if they ever redo figures. But I mean, the Lamborghini mode isn't bad, and the two Lamborghinis together actually look quite nice. It would be interesting to see what these guys would be like. Oh my, bye Lockdown. Be interesting to see what these guys are like. Bye Lockdown. Oh my god. Interesting to Lockdown. Stop. Okay, I have to hold him or else he will roll away. Interesting to see what these two would be like if they shared any screen time together. So Lockdown is trying to get the hell out of here, so we might as well let him. All right, that is going to do it for my closer look at Studio Series The Last Night Hot Rod. So without further ado, let's go ahead and stop it time and throw it back up to me for my final thoughts. All right, so my final thoughts here on Studio Series Last Night Hot Rod is that, if you couldn't tell by the rest of the review, guys, I think he is spectacular. He is so incredibly fun. I love the robot mode. I love all the posability you get out of it. I love the vehicle mode. It looks so nice and so slick. Plus, the transformation is a whole lot of fun. And I think it's really well thought out, really well engineered, and he's a deluxe. I mean, he fits great as a deluxe, but there's a lot of cool stuff that happens in the transformation that, lately I feel like they might have tried to get away with doing him as a Voyager or something, but No, he is great. And I think, honestly, if you are a fan of Bayverse at all, whether you like this design or not, if you've been collecting Studio Series outside of 86 and Bumblebee or whatnot, you need to add this guy to your collection because he is just a spectacular piece to have overall. And he is just so great in so many ways. So guys, that's going to do it for my review of Studio Series The Last Knight Hot Rod. Go ahead and let me know what you think of this figure down below. Do you have him yet? What do you think of him if you do have him? Are you still waiting for him? Do you have him on pre-order? Do you plan on getting him? Do you not? All that kind of stuff. I just want to talk Studio Series Hot Rod with you guys down below. So, as always, guys, if you made it all the way to the end, thank you so much. I really do truly appreciate it. It means a lot to me. And, as always, I have been your host, deceptibot9. Thank you all for joining me, and I'll see you guys next time.